I think we are pretty much done with the Footfall over here. Let's see. So this is gonna be, we need to go to the cogitator on the bridge. This is servitors. Okay, we need to talk with the high factotum. This is we need to talk with Jae. This is again on the bridge. This is some planet. Bridge. This is another planet. And bridge. So it's clear we need to go on the bridge. But for this we need to go over here. This is gonna be the exit. Because we need to take the ship back to the main ship.
None shall stand in my way.
The docks. Where is the... Here it is.
Form A/716B is valid for up to 11 hours from the placement of the stamp. You have submitted it after 14 hours and 8 minutes. Your cargo registration request is denied.
Someone was talking, so the mod kicked in. Oh, that's in.
Lord Captain, the inspection of the ship's systems is complete. The tech priests are reporting the machine spirits are calm and satisfied. Everything is ready for onward travel, except there is an issue you must be made aware of.
As always.
Kasha makes a quick nervous gesture, adjusting the adornment over her third eye.
I have been studying the records left by the vessel's previous navigator. I wanted to double-check the route to Dargonus and discovered that it does not match the one recorded in the Atlas. It is more than a minor warp fluctuation. The route has been wiped out. It can no longer be used for traveling. To make matters worse, I started checking the paths from the Atlas, one after the other, and saw the same thing everywhere. The warp is roiling with an ominous storm, bursting with vivid and screaming colors. It will not hinder our movement, but all previous knowledge is now utterly useless.
Argenta angrily chops the air with the side of her palm.
Warp storms are our enemies, just like heretics and demons. It is a shame they can't be dispersed with a flamer or a bolter. Now we can be certain that problems with astropathic communication in the Coronis Expanse are no coincidence. There is a warp disturbance in your way, Lord Captain. It is swallowing messages and disrupting familiar routes. This means you need to locate the key worlds of the Von Valancius Protectorate as soon as possible. I am talking about Janus, Dargonus, and Kiava Gamma. Charting new routes so they can be reached and restoring control will be the necessary next step.
What would the consequences of losing contact with these worlds be?
A world deprived of connection to its neighboring systems and the Coronis Expanse's infrastructure can only rely on itself, and their capabilities are often limited. For example, Janus does not have a fleet of its own. Pirates, cultists, heretics, xenos, anyone could prey on the helpless planet. The loss of communication is a threat to your position. A rogue trader with no protectorate to back them is one that grows weaker by the day.
The Vox Master is entirely correct. You are rogue trader Rel von Valancius, the successor to Theodora von Valancius, one of the most influential women this side of the Maw. But you are also new to the business of governing. Many will doubt your competence and try to carve up your protectorate so they can snatch a piece for themselves. It is important to show your potential allies and foes that you are in control of the situation. Which is why the sooner we reclaim these lost worlds, the better.
A faint smile appears on Cabela's lips.
If the faithless decide that your worlds are easy prey, that is good. We will find enough enemies in your domain then, and we will kill them. The Undying One will look upon us with approval.
Tell me about Janus.
The surface of Janus was altered extensively so the planet could be designated an agri-world. It is a powerful food base, capable of supplying the burgeoning protectorate and exporting provisions to the outer worlds at the same time. Janus owes much of its prosperity to the Governor House of Viat. Under its leadership, the world has grown ever more prosperous year after year, securing shipments and taxes while keeping the workforce tightly controlled.
What is Kiava Gamma?
Industrial world Kiava Gamma is being managed by the Governor House of Gaprak and supplies your protectorate with rare mineral resources. Additionally, the planet features an Adeptus Mechanicus manufactorum that processes materials and prepares them for shipment.
I testify that Kiava Gamma is a world marked by the Omnisia's patronage. By his grace, the manufactorums of the colony are inhabited by committed and industrious machine spirits.
Heinrix coughs quietly.
Mistress Talaman neglected to mention that the Kiava Gamma manufactorum also supplies heavy machinery, from forage harvesters to vessel systems and components.
Abelard turns his hard eyes on Heinrix.
You display commendable knowledge of our world's manufacturing capability, Van Calix. Pleased to be of service.
What do I need to know about Dargonus?
Dargonus is the heart and soul of your protectorate. It is where the main administrative resources and storage facilities are, and so is the Von Valancius Palace. If you would like to know, this is where you will publicly accept the title of Rogue Trader. Dargonus is a major administrative hub that runs the cargo fleet and keeps track of finances.
Abelard, what is your opinion? Which world should we deal with first?
Abelard strokes his beard for a few seconds before giving a hesitant reply.
Rediscovering the agri-world will supply your protectorate with something none of your servants can do without: sustenance. The importance of basic supplies should not be underestimated. Just look at Footfall in its current pitiful state. On the other hand, I am concerned by the rumors concerning Kiava Gamma. There have been no problems on Janus for many years, but something is very wrong with the industrial world right now. Delay may cost us the entire planet. I trust I do not have to explain the capital world? Losing it would make us the laughingstock of the other dynasties. Besides, the loss of chronicles and ledgers would spell a bureaucratic catastrophe, so all three systems are equally vital to the protectorate. It falls to you to decide which should be brought into the fold before the rest, Lord Captain.
You were very useful. Very well, our course is clear. Do my officers have any other issues that require immediate attention?
That is all, Lord Captain. The vessel and the crew await your instructions and are ready to depart Footfall immediately, should you so desire.
Alright. So let's talk with... We said we're gonna talk with Argenta. We have to talk with J, Argenta, Heinrix. Where is... Let's look, where is... Oh, here is Argenta. Yeah.
Greetings.
I'm waiting for you to tell me about your past and to explain the strange words of that cultist on Footfall.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, Rogue Trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Of course, let us go there right away.
Argenta nods gratefully. Argenta drops to her knees, her hands making the sign of the Aquila. Her eyes are locked on the sweeping signature on the warrant, a seemingly mundane thing, merely a flourish on a piece of paper, unless one knows whose hand left that mark and whose blood is on that paper.
If thou sayest a flaw in me, smite me. If thou knowest a fall of mine, burn me, with flames of fury and righteousness. But if thou sayest a light in me, grace me. If thou hearest this plea of mine, bless me, with wrath of fury and of righteousness.
Argenta's voice is sonorous, as if made for singing hymns and prayers, but right now she cannot seem to catch her breath, so overwhelmed with emotion is she.
For I breathe by the will of thine, for I live by the law of thine. I carry thy word, O Emperor. I bring solace to servants of thine, and ruin to foes of thine, a fate of terror and righteousness.
Upon finishing, she closes her eyes and remains silent for a long time with her head raised high. Slowly, like the first licks of flame in a campfire, a smile blossoms on her lips. When Argenta finally opens her eyes, they are alight with uncanny resolution.
Rogue Trader, we need to talk. Or rather, I need to tell you something. The truth. The truth about how I ended up on Theodora von Valancius's ship and about the cultists we encountered on Footfall.
I'm listening.
Please understand, I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story, and you'll see why.
Argenta pauses.
I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece everything together that way. Upon arriving in the Expanse and on Footfall, I found no purpose here, only torment. I wasn't needed. The reliquary I had been assigned to safeguard was already well protected by Reverend Hieronymus's mission, and no one was even trying to defile it for all its lawlessness. Footfall respects the worship of the Emperor. That was when Lady Theodora, head of your dynasty, appeared. She became an agent of divine will, in a way.
Argenta falters, searching for the words.
It was from her that I learned about a planet recently discovered by her scouts, Solace Prime. For a rogue trader, the planet was of little interest, a feral world away from convenient warp routes. But for me, learning about its existence was a revelation.
I've never heard of such a planet. Does it belong to the von Valancius dynasty?
Yes. Now the planet is yours by right. But it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I will explain in due time. May I continue?
Yes, please.
The description of Solace Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from an ancient legend, the legend of Saint Argenta and her ship.
Her voice grows reverent.
Argenta, the living saint, she is my patroness. The order named me after her. She died millennia ago, when heretics caused her ship to fall from the skies. But even those blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the One Star. For the fallen ship, which now served as the resting place for the saint's remains, would only allow the truly righteous to enter. All others would meet their death. Imagine what I felt when this flash of insight came upon me. The world where Saint Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend. No one knew its actual whereabouts. And suddenly, I, myself named after the saint, come across this information. I realized at that moment that it was a portent, that I must journey to the planet and find the ship. And so I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go for a time on a personal pilgrimage. I boarded Theodora's ship and demanded passage to the newly discovered planet Solace Prime.
Why did you keep your supposition from Reverend Hieronymus? Surely he could have helped with the search for the ship and the saint's remain.
I couldn't just come out and tell him. It was a portent revealed to me personally, can't you see? I told Reverend Hieronymus the honest truth, that I was going on a personal pilgrimage to embolden my spirit. It really was a pilgrimage. It was as if Saint Argenta herself had shown me the way, commanding me to undertake this trial. If I had found the ship and set foot on its decks, if I had laid my hand on her remains and the relic, it would have been a sign that I truly had been blessed with the saint's favor.
So your actions were driven by Ubris, Argenta. It's as if you wanted to keep your discovery all to yourself? Or that's understandable. Searching for your destiny, for your place in the world is a special matter, a personal one. You either succeed at it or you don't. Or that was irresponsible of you. That's not responsible of you. If you had gotten yourself killed on the planet, no one would have learned about its existence and the holy relic would have been lost. Kind of true. If you were the only one who realized what you were dealing with once the planet had been described to you, then this secret was yours and no one else's, as is the decision of what to do about it. Okay, let's go with that. That's understandable, because I'm a nice guy.
Argenta looks at you, somewhat surprised.
I thought that I had been called, that finding the ship was my destiny, my place in the world. Perhaps there is something to that.
I imagine Theodora was thrilled with the prospect.
Lady Theodora lent her assistance. It was her intention to visit the newly discovered world, and she took me with her.
You mentioned something called the One Star. What is it?
Apologies, I got so carried away I forgot to explain. The One Star is the relic kept by Saint Argenta. I belong to the Order Pronatus, and we attach particular significance to holy relics. The One Star is one of the lost relics of the past, so mysterious that no one even knows what it is exactly. Argenta's hagiography at times calls it a banner, or a set of armor, or a blessed chains word. One thing is certain, it was a beacon of righteousness, and it was lost with Argenta's death.
What happened next?
Defeat.
Argenta says bitterly.
The ship's augers failed to detect anything of note during orbital scanning. I was expecting this, though, according to the legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I know Saint Argenta's hagiography by heart. I know all the legends about her. I followed their obscure clues, the descriptions of mountains and rivers from millennia-old tales. And I was certain that I had found the way to the ship. And that's when we were attacked. The words we heard in the heretics' shrine on Footfall. Something about ways, doors, please address to some lord, the edge of daybreak.
Argenta is shaking with disgust.
They were the same words as those spoken by the cultists who attacked us on Solace Prime. My whole unit perished. All those honest, brave people I had led to search for the relic. It was only by a miracle that I didn't perish along with them. I didn't connect these events at first. The cultists on Footfall, the cultists on Solace Prime, the cultists attacking the ship, and Conrad's betrayal. What if these are all links in the same chain? What if they've long since infiltrated the ranks of the Von Valencia servants? What if I led those heretics to the sacred planet with my search?
Sadly, the only one who might have all the answers, Conrad, escaped. Or no need to blame yourself. If the heretics really had wormed their way into the Von Valencius ranks by then, they would have found the planet even without you going there. So how did you manage to escape? Yeah, Conrad.
Oh yes, and I sincerely hope that we will meet him again. That serpent needs to answer a few questions before he is plunged into cleansing flame.
It totally does. So no need to blame yourself.
I doubt it. No one except me was particularly interested in the planet. Conrad, on the other hand, he sympathized with me when I first came aboard. He helped arrange an audience with Theodora and supported me in my effort to visit the planet. I never told him plainly why I wanted to go there, but I imagine that vulture must have figured out that it was something important, something related to the holy faith of the Imperium. And what could delight a heretic more than defiling a relic?
So how did you manage to escape from the cultists?
Argenta hangs her head.
Theodora's people received the distress call, came to my rescue, and brought me aboard the ship. I barely remember what happened. When they arrived, I was already severely wounded, fighting back with whatever remained of my strength. I think I shouted that we had to go after them, but they didn't listen. They took me to the shuttle and pulled out. After that, it's all blackness. When I came to, we were already in the middle of a warp jump. Theodora had urgent matters to take care of, and she decided that she could clear out the planet at a later time.
And that's why you didn't trust me before, correct?
Yes, rogue traitor.
Argenta looks you in the eye.
I saw with my own eyes how a member of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the archenemy. I had already suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of cultists and was afraid of another betrayal. I couldn't be forthright with you, and so I studied you, looking for seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness.
And what did you find?
A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with me and helped eradicate the cultists on Footfall.
Argenta smiles, as if reminiscing about a pleasant evening spent in the company of friends rather than a bloody battle.
So just to clarify, you were wounded, so you never found Saint Argenta's ship, is that right?
Yes. I rushed to Theodora the moment I could walk again, and I insisted on going back to Solace Prime to defend the relic from the heretics. But I was told that the warp had destroyed the old route to the planet, and that plotting a new one would take a great deal of time and effort. As if there could be anything more important than protecting the faith and hunting down servants of the archenemy. In any event, the route was lost, and all knowledge of it died in the attack on the ship along with the old navigator. But now we have a new lead, the data that we collected in the cultist shrine on Footfall. I don't care what that reprobate we executed said, there must be a way to track them down. Tell me, rogue trader, will you help me in this undertaking? Will you help me find this great relic and return it to the people of the Imperium?
There is nothing I wouldn't do to reclaim a sacred object for the people of Imperium. If it's important to you, I will help. Or searching for ancient ships and relics is an exciting prospect. Of course I will help you. If the accused Final Dawn is involved again, it is my duty to help you. That cult must be reduced to ashes throughout the entire Koronus Expanse. I don't think I want to do that. Okay. If it's important to you, I will help.
Argenta walks up and places her hand on your shoulder.
So be it, rogue traitor. As I stand here before the warrant, the embodiment of the Emperor's will marked by his own hand. I vow that I will not relent until the holy relic has been returned and the heretics punished. And may the light be with us both on this path.
So we're gonna have a relic to find. Good. Let's go talk with Heinrix. Here he is. Heinrix looks at you intently, his head tilted. You wanted to discuss the nature of your mission.
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officer's mess.
Heinrix nods slightly.
Thank you for finding an opportunity to talk. I trust now would be a good time to explain the reason for my return aboard your ship.
I welcome the chance to assist the Inquisition with its inquiries, von Kalox. So I do not object to your personality, but I find the continuous presence of an Inquisition on my side slightly unnerving. You wouldn't be on my ship if I had any say in the matter. Okay, you're welcome.
Lord Captain, your enthusiasm is commendable.
The interrogator smiles, but his eyes remain cold.
To business, then. The cult of the Final Dawn. The madmen preach their heretical doctrine among the denizens of the Coronis Expanse and instigate crimes against the throne and humanity. One such crime took place in your protectorate. The Lord Inquisitor considered it necessary to have one of his acolytes accompany the rogue trader on the voyage into the corrupted region. I also need to meet with one of my observers on the capital world of your domain.
A chaos cult in my protectorate? Heinrix, are you laying an accusation against my dynasty?
Chaos treads softly, Rel. The main danger of secret cults and sects is that they are like seeds. They can remain in the ground for decades, safe from all scrutiny, until an opportunity to sprout, grow, and bear monstrous fruit presents itself. The emergence of a cult on one of the rogue traders' planets does not mean the dynasty head himself is a chaos worshipper. Having said that, it should be noted that Theodora von Valancius was famous for her loose interpretation of the freedoms granted by the warrant.
Heinrix regards you with a probing look.
A bloodline can be stained by ancestral transgressions. If it is indeed so, it is in your best interests to do whatever necessary to redeem yourself, and then, perhaps, you will get a chance to salvage your dynasty's reputation.
You have spies on the Valancius worlds?
The person I mentioned is not a spy but a secretary in the administrative department on Dargonus. The planet's governor and Theodora were fully aware of his status. His duty is to fulfill the sacred oath to the Golden Throne and eliminate threats to the Imperium, which the Coronis Expanse has in abundance. His name is Achilles Scalander. As soon as we contact Dargonus, I will introduce you as the new head of the dynasty. I am sure you will appreciate the presence of such an advisor among your subjects, and I suggest you heed his words at least occasionally.
The Lord Inquisitor mentioned in his letter that he is willing to show lenience toward my actions that would otherwise be interpreted as radical.
Heinrix nods.
That is correct. I should show greater tolerance for the mistakes of a newly appointed rogue trader. To be frank, I am surprised. The Lord Inquisitor is not the type to indulge the weakness of soul and mind even in someone who only recently accepted the burden of a lofty title.
Okay, why would Ordo Xenox agents investigate a chaos cult?
You are well versed in how the Inquisition is organized, Rel. Yes, initially our arrival in the Coronis Expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos. But there is more. The cult is tangentially related to my main specialization. Perhaps I will be able to reveal the full truth someday, but right now I ask you to display humility and patience.
I want to know more about this cult of the Final Dawn.
Chaos worshippers. Most often agents of the throne run into lone renegades stirring up the rabble. Insane prophets and hysteric visionaries preaching the end of days. A passing comet, a mutant rebellion, an onslaught of monsters, each time they come up with a new reason why people should prostrate themselves and quiver in fear. Much effort and the blood of those loyal to the Golden Throne were spent before we established the connection between those heretics. However, the cult of the Final Dawn is something greater than a gaggle of misguided seers and fortune-tellers. They cleverly spread their agents all over the Coronis Expanse, disseminating heresy among honest people on the Imperial worlds. There is a certain strategy to their actions that changes whenever we get too close. And finally, they have enough military power to have had the 2 ships that we had sent after them later discovered as wreckage. The growing difficulty in making warp jumps is detrimental to us but is unlikely to inconvenience those who engage in vile sorcery day in, day out.
Heinrix sighs.
After the events on Rykad Minoris, I suspected the cult might have built its nest inside Winterscale's domain, but the latest reports indicate it is your protectorate that is harboring heretics. Being in your entourage improves my chances of getting closer to their secrets.
I have already agreed to give you a place aboard my ship. What else?
The rogue trader should deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. I will then accompany you to the surface and determine what the cult is planning and how it intends to use the resources that have fallen into their clutches, which may very well include the blessed engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus and even the followers of the Omnicia themselves. I will be frank, the answer to this question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Having their plans come to fruition would lead to far more terrible consequences. One of the systems in the Coronis Expanse is already lost. May the Emperor protect us from watching this tragedy play out again.
So let us assume Kiava Gamma has fallen to heresy. What then? Will you again propose we destroy an entire planet?
Heinrix stares you down.
On Reichad Minoris, you made a decision that sent billions of souls into the grasp of the archenemy. An unreasonable and unforgettably high price for a small handful of people saved by your mercy. Do I consider it a worthy exchange? I most certainly do not. Will I make every effort to make sure such an exchange does not happen again? Of course I will. Sentimentality is a luxury I cannot afford.
I do not believe you lack compassion. You did not stop me after all. Although you certainly could have tried to, or I guess sometimes the good of the Imperium demands we turn a blind eye to the fate of its individual servants. No, I do not believe you lack compassion. You did not stop me after all, although you certainly could have tried to.
The interrogator's eyes narrow.
I haven't said I would not like to be able to afford such luxury. In fact, deep down I understand why you acted that way. I have yet to eliminate the understanding and acceptance within myself, but I will.
Why did your suspicion fall on Kiava Gamma?
Disjointed pieces of data that finally merged into a single picture. Additionally, not long ago a vessel from that world arrived on Footfall. The reports from the crew were confused and alarming, making me fear a planet-wide rebellion.
We met a Chaos Space Marine on Reichad Minoris. Do we risk running into his brothers?
I have no doubt it will happen sooner or later, Rel. Chaos Marines siding with the cult is very, very bad news. Most likely they kept away until recently, pulling their puppet strings from a respectable distance. These traitors seldom show up alone. The best we can count on is having to deal with just a squad of Chaos Space Marines in the Coronis Expanse and not an entire company.
I won't let anyone throw their weight around on my words, be they servants of chaos, synods of heretics.
A commendable aspiration for a person who holds the fates of billions of people and dozens of imperial worlds in his hands. Which is why you need to be ever more vigilant when looking for seeds of corruption on your planets, lest they sprout someday and spell doom for whatever is tangled up in their roots.
That is enough discussion about the Arch-Enemy's servants. Tell me about Drukhari, who stole Raikat's son.
Heinrix winces.
The Drukhari, one of the branches of the Eldari, an ancient and vicious Xenos race. Those creatures are a living terror to ordinary people who fall prey to their raids, for the simple reason that the victims are not killed outright but instead become their playthings. Just as you and I need air to survive, the Drukhari require psychic energy born from torment and pain, which they extract from their captives with uncanny expertise. Their ships, which are difficult to mistake for any other, arrive suddenly and undetected. Their stealth technologies greatly surpass the capabilities of standard Imperium augur arrays. The objective of their raids is never to capture a world or a ship, no, they are only interested in fresh victims. After filling their holds with living captives, they disappear into the webway, a different dimension, which conceals their greatest stronghold. Kamarak. The dark city of the Drukhari, from which none can hope to escape.
Heinrix studies your expression.
I do not know why the Drukhari stole Reichad's son and brought about the fulfillment of the cult's prophecies. Perhaps the Xenos themselves have played into the archenemy's designs. Or perhaps Aurora's divinations, in fact, describe the Drukhari's actions. There is only one thing I can say with absolute certainty: there is no alliance between the cult of the Final Dawn and the Xenos. It is simply impossible.
I must go about my business. Is there anything else I need to know? Or let us depart from business matters, Heinrix. You once promised to entertain me with a compelling conversation. Surely this is not what you had in mind. Okay.
Let me put it this way: you may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is not to hinder you. I am here to help you in the fight against foes you may not even be aware of.
Heinrix inclines his head. Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain.
Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain.
The Rogue Trader's Familiar has its own maintenance station located on the flagship and in your residence on Dargonus. Through corresponding upgrade kits, those stations can gain up to 3 levels of improvement. The upgrades are permanent, so even if you decide to change your archetype, thus changing your familiar, the station remains improved. Alright, good to know. Let's go out. Let's talk with the cogitator. Cogitator, it's... if I'm not mistaken, it's around here. Yep, here it is.
The reflections of the bridge lights are playing on the unlit vid screens of the cogitator. Next to the machine stands a hunched tech priest, who bows as you approach, his body nearly folding in half.
Lord Captain, the machine spirit of this mechanism slumbers. Should you wish to awaken it, use the key of your blood.
Who are you and what is your purpose here?
My designation is IH-630.
The tech priest points his only mechadendrite at the machine beside him.
The venerated engine Solace Prime has entrusted this sacred mechanism into my care. It is now my duty to assist in the Rogue Trader's understanding of the Hallowed Code.
What is this blood key I'm supposed to use?
The key you seek is the dynastic blood that runs in your veins. It is the only